Okay, next we have new threats, security trends, and alerts. So, viruses. There are new viruses constantly. New ones are discovered every day. We need to make sure that we keep our systems patched and updated, whether it's our desktops, laptops, or servers, storage arrays, switches, everything. All of our devices have firmware, OS, different types of upgrades that come out sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly, sometimes once or twice a year. But it's important that we test them, obviously, but then get our systems patched and upgraded. And as I mentioned, new viruses seem to come out every day. And I had one person one time kind of just speculate and say, I wonder if the virus companies are the ones half the times that that write these viruses just to make a market for themselves. And obviously we know that's not true. For all the major companies, that they wouldn't be in business very long if that were in fact the case. But there are companies out there, these ones, I shouldn't even really call them companies, but groups probably is a better term, that create the things like the ransomware and the different types of scams where they literally will infect or encrypt or somehow compromise your system and then make you pay them to unencrypt it or to get your information back. So these types of ransomwares devices are of course out there, and new ones are coming up every day. So that's why I say it's very important that we keep patched. And then we also need to make sure that we train our users on phishing attacks. So we need to make sure that they're aware of how to identify false URLs, false web pages, how to mouse over a link and tell that it's not really what it says it is. The link might say www.facebook.com, but if you mouse over it down at the bottom of your browser, you'll see a totally different URL. So that's a way to identify that that's not really a legitimate link to begin with. So by training users to identify this, we can at least mitigate to some degree those types of attacks where they get redirected and capture user information. And then we have zero-day exploits, such things as viruses, malware, ransomware, et cetera, et cetera. They come out all the time. A lot of times they'll come out, they'll be exploited while you see them in the wild, and it might be a day or two or a week before there's a patch available. And that's called a zero-day exploit. When something comes out or is discovered, a virus, let's just say as an example, and here, in this case, a virus comes out, but yet there is no patch available. Well, that's a zero-day exploit, and it might be multiple days, it might be a week, whatever. During that period, it's just referred to as a 0 day. So there's no patch, there's no workaround. So there may be some things that we can do to mitigate in the meantime, but it's very important that we understand that those things are exceptionally vulnerable simply because there is no patch. So whether we need to take a system offline, limit access, or what have you, it depends, of course, what the system is. That's where we have a high potential for risk.